Namaste, my friends. So let us do some practice and then we will come to Karma Yoga. That is going to change our life completely. So close your eyes, find out the most comfortable place, then the position of the body and posture. 3P. So eyes are closed and mentally you are aware of the space where you are sitting. Become just aware of the surrounding. Sometime mind frequently frequently goes to those places in the surrounding and it distracts. So just check that the place and the surrounding is settled completely. And then find the most comfortable position of your body. What is that position where you experience at ease? There is no discomfort at all. And the posture. So once you find it is comfortable, and then it is easy to hold that posture during the practice. And that is the right way to be comfortable. Mentally, and you are looking at the neck joint, means you are aware of it. When you are aware of the neck joint, as in fact, look at the root of the joint of the neck. Why? Because we are helping the mind to go within. But in turn, we feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind on the shoulder joints, being there. And experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Looking or moving the mind on the knee joints. In fact, look at all the joints. So not from outside, but as if you're looking these joints at the root of it. We are just helping the mind to move within. Experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Moving the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes and experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So what happens when we experience the sensation, comfort and steadiness in the body? We can become aware of the mind little deeper. We can see the thoughts are coming, thoughts, feelings, sensations, they rise in the mind and then they settle in the mind. Or we can say that thoughts are coming and going. So that is what I talk about as the next step is being carefree. Free from the cares of the mind. How the mind cares? Mind picks up a sensation and we feel it. Mind picks up a thought and we know it. So if it picks up a thought of the pain or discomfort or reaction against someone or the pleasure, accordingly we feel as if we are experiencing pain or the pleasure. But it belongs to the mind. All experiences takes place in the mind. Are we the mind? No. But this I and the mind and the experiences are mixed up. They got mixed and they mess our life. So in being carefree, I gave an example that you are standing across a road and watching the traffic. Mental traffic of feeling, of sensation, of pain, of pleasure, of good thought, of bad thought. They will continue to come and go. So what you are doing, you are standing across. Means you are simply watching, observing these thought, feelings, sensations. They arise in the mind and they dissolve in the mind itself. The way you're watching the traffic from a distance, you do not enter into the traffic to see the traffic. So when we enter into the thought, we become that thought and that creates the suffering. Now, allow the body to settle, or if I say, allow the mind to settle deeply so that we can transcend the body. So moving the mind on the head and the neck, or becoming aware of the head and the neck, experiencing sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. You move the mind means you become aware, means you feel there is some energy sensation as if it is moving from the right shoulder to the fingertips. And you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. moving the mind on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips. Feel the sensation, relaxation and stillness. Moving the mind on the chest, in the rib cage, in the front, in the back, from the shoulder down to the last rib, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the belly, all around, being aware and experience sensation, relaxation and stillness. Moving the mind on the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes. Feeling sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Sensation, relaxation and stillness. You are aware of the body and experience the sensation, relaxation and stillness. You are aware of the breath that is going in and out. You are aware of the sensation of the breath you feel when the breath is going in, when the breath is coming out. In the state of stillness in the body, relaxation in the body, calmness in the mind, you are looking at the breath, experiencing the sensation of the breath going in and out. That way, the mind continues to live within. It doesn't mean that it is living within the body. It is living within means that there is a rise in awareness. There is a natural focus. You find The field of awareness is calm, relaxed. Maybe a sense of quietness is there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Open your eyes slowly. Today our topic is Karma Yoga. We are trying to understand what exactly Karma Yoga and how Karma Yoga is going to change our attitude completely. Let us understand thought, speech, action, how we interact with the world, thinking in the mind, speaking out, and then acting. Thought, speech, and action. All our suffering, pleasure and the pain, peace and the happiness we experience because of thought, speech, and action. Now I start thinking something crazy about someone, and at the end of the day, I feel stressed, and what I'm thinking about that person, good or bad, he or she is enjoying. So thought is a very subtle action, and the speech comes in between, and the physical action, we already know it is an action. Our thought, speech, and action should point to, explore, and move to peace and happiness, love and wisdom. In a simple way, that becomes the Karma Yoga. So if that becomes the Karma Yoga, then there is no chance of the suffering, anxiety and duality. So my thought, speech, and action should be understood clearly. And when we understand clearly, we realize that no one outside, no situation, no person, no relation is responsible for sorrow and the suffering. No one is responsible for my happiness and love. We are only responsible because of my thought, my speech, my action. You are good. Say, for example, you are good. You are a wonderful person. At the end of the day, you are wonderful for yourself. And if someone is crazy, he is crazy for himself. But if one is crazy, I start blaming and reacting by the thought in the speech. And if one is very wonderful, I feel jealous of it. So both is happening in my mind. So when we change that attitude in the mind, that becomes the Karma Yoga. We hardly become aware. We think and we speak and we act impulsively, instinctively, habitually. You rightly did. You told me that you remain a witness, an observer. You did not say anything about Risa. Because at that moment, your mind was fully aware and realized that I am responsible for peace and happiness, no one else. So we need to change our thought, speech, and action. Thought first. Why thought first? Because thought gives us the knowledge. then speech, then action, based on the desire. All the thought, speech, and action is based on the desire. Motivation or intention, whatever, but desire is based on the attitude. That's an eye-opener. Desires is based on the attitude, and attitude is based on the state of the mind. All our actions, speech, the way we behave in life is based on our attitude. Attitude. That guy is crazy. Now that guy comes in front after 10 minutes. So my attitude, crazy, lives in the mind, and that guy is in front of me. My speech and action will also move accordingly. Do you see that? So that is why our master says the karma yoga should be used, my thought, my speech, my action should be used to purify the mind so that our attitude changes. When the attitude changes, my behavior changes, my action changes. What that state will be? Even in extreme adverse situation with people and relationship, because your attitude has changed, you are not entering into any kind of conflict, anxiety, duality, conflict, fear. Let us understand little deeply. Karma, any action, has a cause and effect relationship. We have been understanding that every action there is a reaction. We know it. So that is what the cause and effect relationship. I speak to you. How you take it, it always has an effect, impact. Whether I think, it also has an effect inside me, then whatever I speak to you and the way I act. It's a cause and a karma. Well, karma means action, and it's a cycle of cause and effect. When we act for selfish motive and desires, we bind ourselves to this cycle of karma, action. That selfishness creates a vicious cycle. I cheat someone to fulfill my own interest and ambition. I create a negative effect in my head, in my mind, in my life. And it is going to bring the result later. If I think some jealousy of you, it has already started. That is where we need to change the attitude. This is what about the karma. But instead of a karma, we do the karma yoga. What is karma yoga? That first I change the attitude in the mind. Attitude is present because of the past impressions, living on an autopilot, habit, because of attachment and detachment. So I keep it aside. I become objective. I talk to you out of the love and the care. Selfish motive has gone. I can guide you with a selfish motive, and I can still guide you with an unselfish motive. Out of love, out of care. So the attitude in the mind, first step in the karma yoga. Karma yoga refers to the selfless action performed as a service without regard to the result or the consequences. Two things are there. First, that it is a selfless action, selfless thought, selfless speech, and selfless act. But you will say, no, no, you are not, you have a motive. I send you the check. So we have to clearly understand what exactly is the selfish and what is the selfless according to Eastern wisdom. If I'm hungry, I have to eat the food. So if I say, no, no, I have become very selfish because I'm eating the food, so I'm distorting, I'm rationalizing without any result. So Eastern wisdom says selfish action means I am thinking, speaking out of attachment, detachment. I am thinking, speaking out of jealousy. I am thinking, speaking, and acting out of anger. I am thinking, speaking, and acting out of hesitation. That is what the selfish motive is. If I am thinking, speaking, and acting out of contributing to your evolution, so my attitude is to help you evolve, rise in awareness. Unselfish. Go to sun. So when you go to the sun, so your thinking, speaking, and acting should be to contribute to their peace and happiness. Keep aside all your differences of it caused by the attachment and detachment. You have an unselfish motive. And I can bet you, even if you do it for a week, not only you expand, your mind expands, you start living into that state of calmness and peace. And your kids start going to respect you more. I told you, karma, cause and effect relationship. But they don't know my attitude inside, but my speech and action expresses that. As we understand others' people motive through their behavior and action, so they also understand. Are you getting it? So it means we are doing our work free from attachment or detachment. My thought, my attitude is to contribute to the good of others by my thought, by my speech and action. I leave aside my expectations from the others. That is going to change, and that becomes the Karma Yoga. We are going slowly deeper. So professional work as a contribution. Never think that you have become a senior. No. Think that how I can contribute to the work in turn, that is a contribution to the business, to the society, to the people, to the nation. Simply first thing, that in what way I'm contributing by accounting, I'm contributing by teaching you, I'm contributing to giving you the practice. So think in this way. Simply thinking, just do it for a week and see what happens. So what happens in Karma Yoga? The first thing that inside, first step is inside. I change my attitude. The moment I meet you, let me contribute. You are giving me an opportunity to transmit, to pass on this wisdom to you. Let me see how best I can contribute, how best I can explain this contribution. Instead, when the mind is thinking, oh, you should appreciate my talk, that becomes a selfish magic. Why should he appreciate my talk? Because I'm attached to it. Are you getting it? So when you live in the mode of contribution, connecting first, contributing second, and then celebrating your life. When you are connecting with unselfish motive, you start contributing, you continue to celebrate your life. That is the first first principle of karma yoga. Attitude. I change inside. Whosoever comes. Now what happens, because you are connecting and contributing and celebrating, your mind forgets, what should be the result of my thought, speech, and action. And it is better to forget. Leave the result on the existence, and what will happen, you will get the best result. And sometime not, so you accept it. You don't have any envy or jealousy or reaction against any result. And by that process, you are purifying your mind. Karma Yoga, step number 2. After understanding what is real self with the 6 characteristics we have understood, I believe you still remember them. Now we have to realize that real self, but the mind comes in between. So we have to change this, purify the mind. How to purify the mind? By the Karma Yoga. Not by karma. So let us understand what is cause and effect in karma, in only action, and what is cause and effect in karma yoga. Main difference is the attitude inside. Attitude behind the speech, attitude behind the action. It is that attitude which creates a ripple of cause and effect, taking me to a bondage, anxiety, and in other case, it is bringing me the peace and happiness. Thought, speech, and action. I just started the talk that no one is responsible for my peace and happiness. No one is responsible for my sorrow and the happiness. Behind that, there is a thought, speech, and action. And what are the 3 factors? This is what the karma. Even I think that is also karma. I speak, that is also karma. What is action? That is also the karma. So in karma, by default, our attitude is selfish, dictated by attachment and detachment, result-oriented, expectation is there. In karma yoga, there is an unselfish motive. Now I'm not attached. You're walking every day. Are you attached to where you are walking? You are connecting to the ground. You are connecting to the pedestrian. You connect and you contribute and you are free. But if you get attached to it, what is going to happen? I'm talking about even a small, the very subtle aspect of your life. So the effect of the selfish action is bondage. If my mind, if my attitude is always thinking for a personal gain, it is going to be expressed directly or indirectly in speech and action. I will strengthen the chain of my ego. I will strengthen my attachment. I will strengthen my jealousy and hatred, and they keep me binding one action after the other and the whole day. That is the cause of my anxiety, duality, conflict. But in karma yoga, what happens? I'm connecting not because of attachment. I'm just connecting for the sake of connecting. Don't you connect early in the morning when the sun rises in the morning? Who are a beautiful sun? You are connecting. Who are a crazy sun? You will never connect. Do you see that? What a crazy guy. My connection is based on every person is wonderful. I have to simply connect and contribute. See the attitude. In karma yoga, we connect selflessly. In the spirit of contributing, let me contribute something. Normally people contribute stress and anxiety in others' life because of their attitude. But this is a conscious approach. In karma yoga, we are connecting selflessly, contributing, and then we are celebrating. If other is celebrating or not, they are going to celebrate sooner or later. So what is the result? So when I'm doing karma yoga, the result is freedom and purification. Because I'm thinking, speaking, and out of selflessness. But if I'm acting out of the selfishness, I strengthen the grip of my ego, my expectation, my attachment. It's a matter of experience. Anytime you can experience. So selfish action stems from the attachment and aversion, which are rooted in the delusion about the true nature of the self. I'm repeating it. All our selfish action stems, whether it's a thought and speech and action, stems from attachment and aversion, which is rooted in delusion about the true nature of my real self. And that continues to create a vicious cycle of expectation, anxiety, duality, pleasure, pain. Let's break it down. There's a long list. Selfish action, any action done primarily with a thought in the mind and a feeling in the mind of expectation, attachment and detachment, self-interest, it is going to create a bondage. It will definitely make my mind and my head heavy. And it is sure to create a sense of anxiety and duality sooner or later. So the principle behind the selfish action is attachment to one. An excessive emotional and psychological dependency is attachment. And when there is an excessive emotional dependency, then I keep on thinking about that person. And when I keep on thinking about that person, it creates an expectation. It creates a clinging. I'm ruining my life. And the same thing happens with aversion. An extreme dislike or a disgust or willful avoidance of any person or experience or situation. It creates a threatening situation and that results into anxiety. Who is responsible for my sorrow and happiness? And who is responsible for my peace and happiness? So what happens, I'm just picked up to only two factors, selfish action out of attachment and aversion. So what happens? Attachment, aversion, it creates a vicious cycle and that creates a delusion. What is delusion? Fundamental ignorance. Delusion means what appears true is not true. The mirage water is not true, but it appears true. So how to remove it? Go closer, examine it. That is what we are doing. Do the self-inquiry. When you approach the mirage water, we realize the water is not there. When you approach through the self-inquiry, when you do the karma yoga, you recognize there is no reason to be anxious, reactive, pain, and the pleasure. We are free. And that freedom is nothing but the purification of the mind. I just picked up a very simple way, the principle. All our selfish action starts from attachment, aversion, results into delusion. Then I start living into the delusion. My thought, speech, and action, one after the other, creates a vicious cycle that results into anxiety, duality, reaction, conflict, stress, disturbed sleep, etc., etc. It starts with the ignorance. The thing that does not exist, I'm chasing it. Or I claim what is temporary as a permanent. So fundamentally, that delusion results into attachment and aversion. It is the same delusion because of which I make one a friend because of attachment, and I make other as my enemy because of aversion. In the root of it is nothing but the delusion. And the delusion creates an ego. Then what is the secret of karma yoga? Change in attitude. Inside first, before you speak and act. Key attitude to embrace in karma yoga. You start thinking this week, your mind 24/7, just think how to connect to others, contribute to others, and celebrate. The way you celebrate company of my company. You connect. So here you connect to contribute. In karma, we connect to attach, to depend, to seek, to expect. Do you see the change in attitude? So in karma yoga, our master says, you connect or you act to serve others. So when I connect, when I contribute, when I celebrate, fact is that I have started serving others. I have an attitude of the service. In that attitude of the service in the mind, my speech becomes very clear, soft, and gentle. So the action is. It helps me to get out of the obsession with the results of an action. Why? Because there is no expectation. It is a giving. It is not taking, receiving. My mind is not in the mode of receiving. My mind is always in the mode of giving. Karma yoga. So when the mind is always in the mode of giving, what happens? In the mode of giving, the ego, expectations, sense of being superior or inferior or attachment, they do not stay in my mind. So your thought converts into the speech because of the right attitude, and it translates into the right action. So this, from the thought to the speech and the action, that attitude is known as the equanimity. of the mind, equipoise of the mind. Now, how do you start? Just start thinking. Start thinking how you can connect and contribute to my life instead of expectation. And you can definitely connect and contribute to my life if you focus on this teaching. That will make me happy, satisfied, full of joy. You are evolving. You see the reciprocity in both. So the karma yoga basically means what? Thought, speech, and action. In karma yoga, it dissolves the idea that we are separate, so we have to expect, so we have to get attached, so we have to get into anxiety because you are not fulfilling my expectations. So that idea goes away. When that idea goes away, you are always happy in every situation because you are connecting, contributing, and celebrating. That is our second two. Again, step number 2, I'm reminding you in the step number 1. So we should prepare a foundation from which we start the journey. So we prepare the foundation by understanding what is our true nature. What is our true nature? The first characteristic is that it is real self. No, it is eternal. So it means what is not eternal, claimed by the mind as an eternal, it causes the delusion. So it means whatever is the temporary. How long you are going to meet anyone? Anyone. Take an example even of a couple. Maybe an hour or so. Then the couple goes to their work, they return home, but the thought, the attitude remains 24/7. And if the attitude is guided by the delusion, we make our life mess. I'm combining. Second characteristic of the real self is it is an absolute truth. Where it means it never changes. So I love you, I hate you, I attach to you, I'm detached to you. Oh, mind. I don't want this attachment or detachment business. Let me connect and contribute. So your mind follows that absolute truth of constantly connecting and contributing and celebrating your life. Where is the space for anxiety, duality, conflict? Tell me. So when we have a right attitude, that is the first point of the karma yoga. But if the attitude is emotional clinging, ego returns, reaction returns, expectation returns, discontentment returns, frustration returns, anxiety is there. Resentment is there, resistance is there in that mind. That is my attitude. And because of that resentment and resistance, I have to react. And when I react, I have to go into anxiety and duality. Why? Because my mind now, because of the delusion, finds there is a threatening situation. And when there is a threatening situation, I disturb my sleep, I feel tired. The entire vicious circle doing the karma brings, and this is what is known as the bondage. This is known as the suffering. Catch yourself. So self-inquiry is the right way. Catch yourself acting from the selfish motivation. Catch yourself means internally you are aware, and internally you are aware, you change your attitude from to see. Connect, contribute, and celebrate. Oh, let me see in what way I can contribute. Free from attachment. So is my thought, speech, and action filled with the selfish desires? I told you, selfish clearly. Earning money is one thing, but craving for the money is a selfish desire. So I have to shift my motivation inside first. Say a person comes to you and you reacted against that person, or that person made you crazy sometime in the past. And now that person is in front of you again after a week. If you had the same attitude of expectation and the reaction and the anger, or you have an attitude of loving kindness, what I have to do? That incident happened. Let me now change my attitude. You have to choose which one is better. Between the karma and the karma yoga. So I can shift my motivation instantly inside my head before I speak and act. And just that change in the attitude changes my entire life, entire situation. So when you have changed your motivation, or that is one option, or whenever any thought of the attachment, aversion, or expectation is there in the mind, daily contemplate and reflect. I have a certain reaction against Michael, for example. And then I explore it, reflect it. Oh, it is because of the attachment. And then you reflect and come to the conclusion what I have to do with the attachment. Whenever I meet Michael, I will connect and contribute and I will thank him. Now, your attitude, you have reset the attitude, you have reset the motivation. Whenever he meets you, you speak and act in freedom. Otherwise, your mind continues to live in the bondage. So, what is going to happen? It takes time, it ultimately creates a sense of equanimity. Our mind is always relaxed and calm. Why relaxed and calm? It is not running after attachment, it is not escaping the detachment, aversion. So, then what happens? Now you are still connected. But how you are connected, you are ready to contribute. What do you contribute? You are contribute peace and happiness because of your attitude. So when you are contributing peace and happiness, what happens? You have the freedom. Others also impacted, but you need not to think of it. That's not your business. Let the existence offer you the permanent peace and happiness. It comes by karma yoga. So then what is going to happen? Gradually and progressively, you dissolve your attachment and detachment from the mind. You destroy the delusion. You drop your comparison and competition. You compare very less. You cherish more. You celebrate interdependence. You celebrate the common bonds by which all the beings are connected. That is what I say. Connect, contribute, and celebrate. You commit to the path day by day. Commit to the path day by day. The life changes. I can bet you will feel 40 years younger because of doing the karma, because the entire thought process and the attitude, level of awareness changes completely. Attitude inside, when the attitude changes inside, you are not at all worried about the result. You don't care. Because if I'm concerned about the result, I'm already attached. This is the beauty of the Karma Yoga. This is the secret of Karma Yoga. My friend, we are doing Karma Yoga mentally. And because we have started doing the Karma Yoga mentally, we can do it anytime, anywhere, what it takes to think about you that you are a wonderful person. You always think good for others. That I have seen. It's a practical, it's the truth. You're always kind. You're always ready to help others. What it takes to think like this about you. No, but if one person is not like this, it belongs to his or her attitude, not to you. So what should be my attitude towards those people? Connect, contribute, and celebrate. I believe you might be getting somewhere. You have to contemplate and reflect and then send me the email that you have clearly understood. We are doing it. Suppose you are standing in a line. Mentally, you are practicing patience. There are 4 people in front of you. That is also a connection contribution. You don't bypass the line and go there. You're stuck in a traffic. Connect, contribute. You're aware of everyone. I've seen a lot of people standing on their cars. They stop the car at the red light and they hit their hand on their forehead. Oh, or they are just as if they're shaking their steering. You're in the workplace. You're connecting and contributing. Instead, you're finding it a burden. How can I now? I have to retire. No, there is no retirement. So the Karma Yoga has 2 main elements that we are going to talk in detail, but I'm just making you aware. The attitude of the equanimity, attitude of I'm the non-doer, as if, that is equanimity. And outside, I'm not worried about the result, what happens. And when that happens in life, Karma Yoga has a power to transform your life. Thank you.